Hey there, YouTube peoples. Welcome back to Socially Single. I'm V, and I have thoughts. I have so many thoughts. I'm so late bringing this video out about 90 Day Fiance. We are on season 12, episode 7, and this was titled The Ball and Chain. And I gotta say that this is a good episode. I felt like that we got updates from everybody. And so I'm gonna be talking about everybody. And I'm gonna probably break them up into videos that break them up into different videos, different parts. So that way it is not too long because I got a lot of notes and I have a lot of thoughts to share with you all. So, of course, I would love that if you would subscribe, press the thumbs up button if you liked it, not the thumbs down. And most importantly, I want to leave your comments because those who, of course, watching the fiance, you watch the show, you already know what's kind of going on. I have some deeper questions that I want to talk about and hopefully some different perspectives compared to other people that I want to get into. And so I'm enjoying this season, by the way. I think the fact that it is bringing me to chorus to want to talk and have these conversations is only a success on the show's part. And I appreciate that it seems like production is not having to do all the tampering and manipulation with the storylines. It's coming off very authentic, I think, for the most part. At least at this point in the game, we do have the rest of the season to get through, and then of course, we have those tell-alls. So let's get into a few different things and take it from there. Okay, so we got a small update regarding Mallory and Rashid. And last time we saw Rosh, and we ended with them, of course, he has slammed the tailgate shut on Brandon's tailgate, and Brandon, because of the cameras, they whip his ass. Okay, and so now they're back at home. He was drunk as a skunk, as Mallory affectionately put it. You got white girl drunk, and and um, and so he was so drunk he went the dog sleep in the bed. He didn't give, he didn't care, child. So all we get from this situation is Rosh is trying to remain firm that he does not want Mallory talking to Brandon and vice versa. He is like, y'all need to block each other. I don't like it. This is not my culture, so on and so forth. And we have Mallory saying, I don't really care if you don't like her or not. Like, he is my best friend's husband, best friend. So I need you to understand that, let's just say that we don't talk. He is going to be around. And I'm not going to not talk to my best friend to accommodate you. He is a part of our lives. He's a part of the culture. This is a small town. There's only so many people in this small town. And she's like, I've worked hard. Because she does, if we notice, Mallory doesn't talk about her family a lot. We don't know what it is about her family. It's possible that maybe her family doesn't agree with this relationship on a very political, judgmental level. That's highly possible in her area of the country. But she doesn't talk about her family. We have not seen her parents. We haven't heard anything about him going to visit her family. We haven't heard of family events. And this is still early on. Like, we're still in, like, maybe what is this? Maybe day 2 or 3, maybe 4 of him being there. So I'm not saying it's not gonna happen. I just noticed the absence of her family not being around. We've only heard about her friends. And, but she did bring good points. Like, she's like, I'm not going to give in to you. And you don't have to like it. This isn't Turkey. I am not a Turkish woman. This isn't a Turkish culture. And if that's what you really wanted, then you need to go back to Turkey and find you a Turkish woman. But all I can commit to is me and Brandon are no longer intimate. He isn't someone who I'm going to on or off with. It is a very platonic space at this point, and he has earned his place in my life amongst the friends that I have built in the past couple of years. And he's important to me, and he's a part of the fabric of of other friendships that I have with people. You're gonna have to get the program or find your way to be comfortable with that. This is a Rosh problem. And Rosh is very stuck on the fact that he's man of the house. He's this. Rosh, you ain't paid not one bill. Rosh, you talking about sending money back to your family. Rosh, you aren't going to be able to perform in what it seems like is even your idea of a man for Mallory for a good period of time. So maybe you should try just a little bit humble, because I don't like Rosh at all. And it's weird because I think some of us had the thoughts that Mallory was going to be the problem, especially given where she lives and the political climate. But if I'm being frank, Mallory has her, what seems to be so far, a good group of people. All of her friends embrace that Turkish man. All of her friends, they may consider themselves white trash. They very well could be conservative Republicans or MAGA lovers. That is not what we're seeing on camera. Mallory has already said the people that she knows that has a problem with her relationship are no longer in her life, and they were not invited to anything to do with her and Rash. I don't doubt that. I think that she's very aware of where she's at. And so what I thought was going to be a problem with them is not the problem. The problem that we're having is Rasha doesn't get it. And maybe they're dragging this storyline out. Maybe they don't really have any real issues, and this is just something that Productions is pushing. I do get the vibe that because it's still the early days for them, this is something that Rosh is very stuck on. So we're going to see how their process goes. But that's all I got. That's all I got. Y'all have more thoughts. I'm gonna, you know what I'm going to say. Put it in the comment section so I can respond to it, and I can like it, and let's have some discourse about that. But we're going to move on. We're going to move on, and we're going to see what we're going to get from them. All right, y'all. So we got one scene in just a little snippet of Shay and Annabelle. And when we last saw them, Annabelle was having some girl time with, I forgot Shay's daughter's name, but Shay's daughter and Angie. And so the girl that was being accused of cheating with Shay, his friend's daughter. And so we kind of get back with them. We see that Allison, I think is her name, brought Annabelle home from the nail shop. So we didn't get no more footage from after Annabelle had asked Angie straight up, "Are you cheating with my man?" So they had this whole spa day. We didn't get no more footage from that. So we had to rely on what Allison told us as far as how they went and what Annabelle's response was when she got home. So Annabelle said, "I'm still angry. In my mind, he still cheated on me, whether he was just kissing girls or whether he was screwing them. It doesn't matter if he was still cheating." And she told him that. But she said, "I'm going to choose to forgive you, but this won't be this." Annabelle, I think at this point realizes I wasn't here. So maybe I can give a bit of leeway or understanding that because I wasn't here, you did what you did. And you had that freedom, and you were already living a certain lifestyle before me. Like, Shay has been considered, from what we understand, as a party boy for years and has been that way throughout previous marriages. So I think Annabelle is aware of his past. I don't think Annabelle is stupid to believe that he has been fully monogamous and wasn't doing it a certain way. She's very clear that when he drinks, he makes stupid decisions, and therefore she is like, you need to stop drinking, or you need to minimize how much you drink, and that is not going to fly in this relationship. I don't think Annabelle is here just to be in the United States for a green card. I think that she's 54 years old. We gotta be honest. There's not much Annabelle will be able to do to, in my opinion, elevate her lifestyle at her age in Kentucky, in Paducah, Kentucky. So, I don't think she's here for really like her own purpose. I think that she truly likes, that she loves Shay, and then that she likes being a catering relationship. But it's clear Annabelle is not a doormat. She's not Debbie. Um, and so we see Annabelle hold Shay accountable. And he's like, okay, great. I'm glad you're forgiving me. Let's go to the bar. Let's go watch the football game. And Annabelle said, hell nah. No. What we gonna do is get your fat ass on this mat, and we finna start doing some yoga, and I'm gonna make you some herbal tea. You ain't finna have no bitter night. Plus, I've been out all day. I don't want to mingle with your friends. And what Annabelle said is this. Annabelle's like, let's just not rush to put you in a position where you can probably piss me off and fail. Because you know what Annabelle said? Annabelle said, I'm not Josh. And listen, you may be a little bit like Katie, but I ain't Josh. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what I don't like and then keep going with you to events where you can mess up. Okay, that's what Annabelle said in so many words. And we hear Allison say that she's grateful that her father has, came forward and told her certain things so she wouldn't have to tell Annabelle. Because don't forget now, Allison said that she wouldn't tell Annabelle everything so she can piss off Annabelle and have Annabelle go back home. So she's essentially not getting in her way from getting what she wants. However, Allison did say that Shay did not tell Annabelle everything. She said, I know my father, and I've seen my father do a lot over the years. And what I did not like about Allison is it's clear she has an ulterior motive that does not favor Annabelle, it favors herself. So she wants Annabelle to know everything for her purposes, not necessarily for Annabelle's awareness. And so I think that she still is trying to tell that she has leverage over her father. And we'll see what she does with that information. Annabelle says she's good at this point. She don't want to talk to Nicole. She don't want to hear no more. I think for Annabelle, she's already considered the worst of the worst, and she's already over here. And I think she really wants to get in this relationship. And of course, given the life of, I don't want to say servitude, but given the way of life that it is in the Philippines, I think that she really wants to be here, and she enjoys Shay. They've been together for like 5 years, so I think that of course she wants to have her own person. And I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's wrong. I understand being forgiving, and saying that now that our situation has changed significantly and we're really in a new chapter that allows us to be together in ways in which we could not be together for a much longer, lengthy, much longer time frame compared to a vacation. Let's give this a real shot and see where it's go. But she made it clear she ain't got it to do. That's all we got from them. We got one scene. That's all we got. So, I think with Shay and Annabelle, Shay made a commitment that he's going to do better and he's going to change his behaviors really in favor of Annabelle. And time is going to tell. Let's just see what Shay is made of, because I do give credit that when somebody is able to admit to their behaviors and where they're wrong, and they want to change to be a better person, what harm at this point could it be that she gives him the opportunity? Because unless she keeps her word, and that's it, he keeps messing up. All right, Annabelle. Now, if he messes up again, are you really prepared to leave and end this? Because he's not respecting you at that point. Y'all tell me what you think in the comment section about Shay and Annabelle if y'all have thoughts. Because we didn't get a whole lot from them, but that's where we're at so far. So let's see how we can move their storyline further. Let's talk about my least favorable couple. Well, that would mean that they have favor. With me, they don't. Y'all know I can't stand Katie of the couple, Katie and Josh. Because she Katie with a C. And so we get quite a bit from them. And their storyline is getting just a little bit juicy. So at this point, we find out that they finally got them some furniture, just a little bit of furniture. It does not look like that bed has been replaced, which I don't understand because something I've been asking about Josh is, Josh, what are your standards? Like, at what point do you put your foot down and say that you aren't going to tolerate certain things? And Josh looks like he's 38 years old, if I'm being honest. He don't really look 30. Maybe it's a receding hairline. But, Josh come out as a little bit older than 30 years old, but he's 30 years old and she's 26. And so he seems to have a very accommodating presence in the relationship. Not saying that he's weak and submissive. I'm not going to take it there. But I think that he has shown Katie a lot of grace and he has tried to be understanding. However, I question, at what point do we bring that to a close? Because Katie strikes me as someone who is extremely self-centered. She is selfish and she is not concerned with Josh's well-being. Most importantly, in any compatible or fair way that we would expect a person to care for their partners of. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. So this episode, we see that Josh has got him a desk. Yeah, he has his equipment for his desk. He has a chair. He is off the floor, and he's like, there's definitely still things that we need to get. But now they've been there at this new apartment for just over a week, and so, he's feeling just a little bit better about things from where they were last time because some time has passed now. And one of the things that kind of came up is he's like, we need to get a couch or something because I can't keep dealing with these issues. And also, you need to loose the purse strings a bit. Like, I'm 30 years old. I run a significant portion of my family's business. I've handled significant sums of money for different people with a hell of a lot more money than you or what I have. So I'm just saying, you need to stop telling me that I'm bad with money. Because I have anything to prove otherwise to you. So that is the ongoing argument between them because we find that Katie she likes to call herself very frugal and that she doesn't, she feels like she's better with money. And despite her chaotic lifestyle that we've seen of her, that she is the more responsible one. That's what she wants us to believe. So we get to this point where her birthday's coming up, and Josh is like, okay, well, hey, what are we doing for your birthday? What do you want to do? And Katie's like, come on, y'all. What does Katie want to do? She wants to go to the bar with her friends. That's it. And we find out that she has invited someone who has been a very contentious part of their relationship. We find out that there's a guy named Ryan who she met at a marathon, in Chicago. And when she met him, they have since traveled to different countries for different marathons. Now, Josh was there, her and Josh was already together, we find out. And while he wasn't in every country with them, he has had the time to spend and to meet Ryan. So Ryan was definitely familiar with Josh. Of course, in Katie fashion, we find out that Katie and Ryan have made out more than once throughout their travels. And Josh has outright said, I'm not comfortable with that. And I'm going to trust Katie that she hasn't gone all the way. And Katie said, no, we only just made out. And Ryan did not necessarily say that they had sex, but he also wasn't like, all we did was just do lip to lip stuff. So I am going to just go with the fact that because we know there's already smoke, there is definitely more that happened in between them, even if it wasn't penetration. It was enough to where Katie and Josh truly have had some discussions about the fact that he is not comfortable with Ryan. According to Josh, he does not want to be in 20 feet of Ryan. And Josh, I'm gonna need you to be a little bit more macho with this. Like, just say you don't fuck with Josh, you don't want to see Josh ever again. Just say that. You know, this whole kind of giving her a little space, but kind of giving yourself, you need to be just, it's a yes or no. I'm gonna need you to stop being so gray and start being black and white. I'm just being frank with you when it comes to Katie. Katie is neurodivergent as hell. And you need to give her boundaries to operate within, because if you do not, she's only going to keep taking and taking and taking. So Katie is like, well, I know that Josh doesn't like Ryan, but he's in town for a work event. So I just sent an invite to him since he's in town. But then when I did it, oh my God, I just felt so guilty. And I was like, I shouldn't have done that. But instead of disinviting Ryan, instead of being like, Ryan, you can't come, let me go to Josh and just tell Josh, yeah, I invited Ryan and I feel bad, but he's coming. So you further want Josh to give you rope, to give you more leeway to do whatever it is you want to do, because apparently Ryan is one of your closest friends, and he is someone who you talk on the phone with that night. You can call. I'm sorry. She feels like that if she needed to call him at 3 in the morning, he'll be the friend who will answer, though that hasn't been necessary. So we see that Josh is just uncomfortable with this whole situation. He's like, I'm gonna do my best to maintain my composure, but I'm not happy about this. Katie, this is why I don't like Katie. I don't. She's like me though, where you like the idea of having someone who is permanent and stable for you, but I think Katie is on the wrong show. Katie needs to be on This Is Polly. She does. I think Katie needs to be on This Is Polly. Because we meet Ryan. I'm going to tell you where we're kind of leaving with this. We have the party, and Josh is there talking to her other friends and mingling, and then Ryan shows up. And then he shows up with a rather nice gift for Katie. Of course, we know Katie has a drink in her hand. Who knows what number drink that is? And Katie is like, well, Ryan and Josh, they don't have to be friends, but they need to figure their stuff out. We need to be cordial with each other. Okay, let's see how this goes. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, we ended the episode on a cliffhanger because Katie takes Josh and Ryan outside, and Josh is like, why are you here? And Ryan just jumps right into it. And he's like, me and Katie have had several conversations about what she wants. And so I'm here because she wants me here. And Katie, have you decided what you really want? And have you told Josh? And we end there. So we get the impression that there is more to this situation than what Katie has led us to believe and has led Josh to believe. I'm going to tell y'all what I think Katie wants. I think Katie, because she talked about the fact that she really likes having her adventures. And she's referring to her to being sexually free, right? And she already started off in the very first episode about not necessarily being pleased intimately by Josh. So I think that she wants her cake and she wants to eat it too. And let me tell you something. I am not someone who's against open relationships. I'm not against polyamory. I don't care for polygamy per se or misogyny, but I don't know why I said misogyny, y'all, but regardless, as long as the people involved are consenting adults who agree to the terms of whatever that unionship is going to be, it ain't my business, and I fully support that you do what you need to do. I think Katie is on the wrong show. I think she needs to be on This Is Polly. I think that she's looking for either to have multiple partners, or at the very least, she wants to have an open relationship. Now, Josh asked her, what if I was doing what you were doing? Like how would you feel? Because it's very rare that we have a guy who gives this much leeway to a woman, right? We've seen a ton of situations where the woman stays and the man constantly cheats and does what he wants to do, and is almost lauded and accepted by this society of ours, right? Because it's definitely a one-way street. What Katie is doing would not be any different if she was a man to me. She could have been in a lesbian or gay relationship. The behaviors Katie exhibits and the excuses she uses for her behaviors, it's just not right or okay. And I do not believe she's out here kissing random people or having a bunch of what she calls her adventure period, because she's OCD. Miss me with that. Just miss me with that, Katie. You're doing it because you're a hoe. And and listen, I believe in sexual freedom, as long as you use protection, of course, and you're being thoughtful and mindful of yourself and your partners and your body, you know what I mean? But just that you are not ready for monogamous. And that isn't that Josh is questioning her on. Are you sure you're really ready to be married? Because I'm thinking about having kids with you, and Katie is not there. She is not excited about the thought of having kids. Katie is not excited about having a monogamous lifestyle. She's not excited about really accommodating Josh in any way. She just wants him to be okay with wherever she does, and him to shut his mouth and be okay with it. So I don't care for her, but I am looking to see where did the cliffhanger end up at and where it's gonna go. Because there's definitely more to the story with her and Ryan. And I'm just saying, I think Katie, I'm not saying she wants to be with Ryan, but it seems like her and Ryan can have a more compatible relationship that allows them to be a bit more open-minded. What do y'all think about this? Do y'all like her? Is there a perspective in this situation that I'm missing? I don't know. But I would love to know what y'all thoughts are. Like, seriously, am I off base with this? Am I being too critical? Am I being too judgmental? I've been asking where are Josh's standards, and I think we're getting to the point where Josh may put his foot down and say, I'm done with this shit, or it's a hard no. Like, either you're going to like me for what I want and what we agreed to, or you're not. Do you think we're getting there? Have you seen the show? Love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's hit to the next one. Alrighty, y'all. So, I have been riding Debbie and Mito's tail with what they've been showing us this season. And I have to have so many thoughts I got to share about this too. So let's talk about Debbie and Mito. And you know what? I ain't even hold y'all long. So we saw in the last episode that we have reached a peak of anger and discontentment from Debbie and Mito when she cussed him out in her car and left him at the bar. And just so y'all know, Debbie ain't Papa Yui and come pick his ass back up. He was left there with her friends. When Debbie left and sped off and pushed her C-Class Ford banker down that street, she did not return. And she went home, changed, and got her bed and got that makeup off and said, I'm done. I was like, you know what, Debbie? Respect. And so he had to get an Uber, or production gave him a ride home. Okay. And of course it's production is like, what the hell happened in the car? We done got set up in the bar. Your friends are there. One of the guys are there, was already in there, got his string waiting for y'all. Like, let me talk to y'all separately and figure out what the hell happened. So he talks to Mito. Mito is giving a very half-ass account that does not put him in a bad light. And of course puts all the blame on Debbie about her overreacting. He doesn't know what went wrong. Mito is not stupid, to be clear. He's not stupid. What I do think what Mito is that he is manipulative. And because he is so self-centered, he is not someone who was willing to ever put himself in a bad light, right? And so production's like, well, something else had to happen because it just don't make no sense. Like, we were just all fine, and then y'all get into the car without us, and y'all having a whole issue. Mito, of course, is the one going in further. So they asked Debbie, what the hell went wrong? Debbie, what you say to that man? And Debbie is like, I told him that, he's having this attitude. He doesn't show me any compassion. And, and I'm sick of it. He can go home. I don't know if he's put a ticket or not. I'm not offering to pay for it. He can do what he wants to do, but I'm not going to continue to be disrespected. Period. So the next morning, of course, Mito's up on the couch when he got home, and Debbie's within the room, and they follow back up with them. Okay, production's like, where you at? Debbie's like, we need to have a conversation, but I'm still mad, and I'm not ready to talk to him. So I'm going to go and meet up with Asher and talk to my friend about what the hell went wrong, but I'm not ready to talk to him. Okay? And Mito is like, for him, of course, he has to find something that was just, oh my God, so offensive. He says she questioned my virginity. She questioned my virginity when she said that you were screwing one of my friends over there in Egypt. How dare she? If she had done it in my country, it would be done. It would be over. And I just could not find a fight back home. Right. I just couldn't find a fight back home, so I just had to deal with this. No, you couldn't afford one, because you don't have no money. That's what that was. I'm sure you could find a fight back home between Baton Rouge and New Orleans Airport. You could have found something. You can get to lay your ass over in Atlanta and chill for a day or two. If you really want to go, maybe you could have went. So miss me with that. But that was the most thing that offended him, was that fact that she questioned his virginity. And I think that was a very poor excuse to have this hissy fit when she got in the car and she said, hey, I'm not happy because you're kind of coming off a certain way. And he's like, well, what do you have to be unhappy about? What is it you could possibly be mad about? You have everything. She ain't getting no D from you. She ain't getting no nookie from you. We don't know if she's getting any hugs or any fingering. She ain't getting nothing from you. So what is that she's getting from you again? Because it seems like she's been doing all the work, of course. And I am conscious to know that the only thing we can base things off of is what we are shown on camera, right? So back at the bar, Astra had a lot to say about Mito. Astra don't like Mito. And she's like, he's disrespectful. He has attitude. And to be honest, I love my friend Debbie, but Debbie needs to get it together and dump him, because he's talking to us all kind of wrong. And Debbie, and let me tell you something. Astra was spot on every concern that she said, because she was saying what us as the audience was saying. Her thing was like, I wonder how he talks to her when the cameras aren't around. What happens behind closed doors? If he gets that mad, is he laying hands on her and she ain't talking about it because she don't want to put him in a bad light? What's really going on? And she's like, and she said, I already feel that because the cameras are here, that he's being performative. And we're not seeing who he really is. And so I said, this is my kind of carry on right here, because Astra did not have the time to mince words at all. And when she meets up with Debbie the next day to kind of talk about where did everything go wrong, everything Astra said in her confessional, her one-on-one with production, she said that and then some to Debbie in person. Let me tell you something. Astra's my kind of girl. Astra is my kind of person, because that's how I am. If I'm going to talk about you and I have opinions about what's going on, I'm going to talk about it with, what I feel I need to get it out. But you're going to know all about it. And you're going to know the exaggerated, detailed, if you will, version of what I have to say about what I feel about what's going on with you. And then you can take that information and make your own decisions, but you will always know where I stand. Okay. And I appreciate it about Astra. So, you know, while they're both claiming to be done with each other, as far as Debbie and Mito, Debbie's talking to her friend and she's like, we have had some great days. It's not like it's every day, but like me and Mito have had some great days with each other. And I'm sitting here wondering when. Because we don't have proof that y'all have had a great day together. We just don't. Because all we have seen from you, and from him in particular, he treats you poorly and he treats you like a sponsor. That's all we're seeing, Debbie. And Debbie, if you ever see this, I think that I've had your back because we want to see better from you. And if we're misunderstanding Mito, then maybe I need you to tell us that Mito is getting the villain edit, and what you probably should be doing on your TikTok instead of blocking people who you feel are saying things negative about what's going on. Maybe what you should be doing is maybe releasing some of the moments that is not being shown on camera of, hey, look at what Mito is doing for me. Look at these are great things. Something tells me he hasn't stopped having you record and take pictures. So why don't you show us pictures that are not from production of you two just being the couple? Him taking care of you. Him being compassionate to you. Him, I'm not saying obviously release it OnlyFans. What I'm saying is provide the proof of what the great days look like between the two of you. Because right now, if he is getting the villain edit, it is definitely not in his favor, and he is his demeanor and how he talks to you and how he is talking to others who like you is very unbecoming, and it's just quite frankly unlikable. So don't get mad at us, the audience, because we're feeling the type of way because we don't like how you were being treated. And it is cringe, Debbie. It doesn't feel good. It's not entertaining to have to sit through that. And I'm bringing this up, y'all, because y'all don't get too deep into what goes on with current events in terms of with these people, because I want to just watch the show. However, it is widely known that at this point that in December 2025, Debbie married Mito in Louisiana, in New Orleans, Louisiana. They have proof of a marriage certificate. So they have completed their 90 days at that point, which would kind of be around the time frame. This is Halloween that we saw on this episode when they got mad at each other at the bar because they were going to the haunted house. So he came in October sometime, or maybe the end of September, and they got married in December. So my whole thing is, you end up marrying him. I hope throughout the season we might get a better glimpse to see what is he doing to take accountability. And at the other point, instead of being his mother, how are you holding him accountable to treat you the way you want to be treated and to give you what you need from a relationship since you haven't been with a man in 20 years? I'm just asking the question because the first question I want to know is, you say he'll give you the compassion. So when did he start giving you compassion? When did he start showing interest in you on a relationship, intimate level, the way that is expected of someone who is to be your husband, at this point is your husband? When did that start? Catch us up, Debbie. You can comment below because I'm going to ask everybody, is there information that y'all don't know? Because Astra asked the right question. She said, miss me with all that crap, friend. She was like, are you sure Mito really loves you? Debbie, are you sure that he's even interested in you? Because Astra said he doesn't seem he's not a very genuine person. Are you sure he's not here just to further his career and use you as a stepping stool to get to where he wants? In fact, has he even said that, let's just say he gets a big gig. Let's just say we see Mito on a Lifetime movie. Let's just say that he gets a recurring role in a soap opera. What does life look like for you? Has he talked about how he's going to take care of you? You're going to buy a house together in LA, and where are those conversations at? Because so far we haven't had that. So Debbie, I'm giving you some advice before you bring your ass to the tell-all. Already on the defense for the sake of being defensive to defend your man. Take a step back and just see what we are seeing, right? And maybe try to respond to that. And I'll do you one better. Your responding really should be minimal because Mito, as a man, really needs to be taking accountability and responding a bit better. That's all I got for that. That's all I got. I will say that I'm glad that you have Astra as a friend, Debbie. I think that she comes off as a real one and as someone who has your ultimate best interest at heart, and she grounds you. If Astra comes out, or we see Astra later episode say, okay, when Mito's good, and we could, let me say something, we all gonna be good. But your friends don't fuck with Mito. So that's all I got, y'all. I want to know in the comment section what y'all really feel about Debbie and Mito. Like, am I off base here? Am I asking the wrong questions? Let me know in the comment section. Seriously, because I'm not feeling, this whole Debbie got married, and I get it, it's very hard. I miss the days when you can just watch the show and not know what was really going on with the people on the show before the end of the show happened or the tell-all happened. So it's kind of hard to, separate those two frame of minds. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and hop into the next couple.